Hello, my name is John and this is the Homestead Diary. This is something that we're going to go through. These are various plantings and cuttings that I've taken at an old homestead to bring to a new homestead, and I'm going to go through them one by one to try to help myself remember exactly what it is that I have dug up and taken cuttings of. So, first up we have, these are plum. There's 8 plum cuttings and 8 more plum cuttings here, darker redder plum, and then this is a lighter plum. And then these are from what we call snowball bush. I'm sure there's some Latin name, but I don't know what that is, and it's not really that important. And then coming over, we've got raspberry plants. These are all cuttings that I took, as well as various grape cuttings. And we've got grape in the same fashion here. Now there are 3 different grapevines that I took these cuttings off of. One was next to the fence at the play area, one was right in front of the house, and then another one was up beside the house, going up into the upper balcony area. And so it'll be interesting to see the differences there. Over here, we actually dug up lemon balm. And so there are 2 trays of those. Got those from the hillside. Here is the lone plum tree that I was able to find and actually dig up. It's amazing how few plum saplings there are around here. The ones that are there are way too large to try to transplant, at least in this fashion. And there we have comfrey. Those comfrey stems were probably 5 feet long, and comfrey stems are very fragile, and so if I had not cut them off, then they would have just ended up snapping. So coming down here, we've got actual raspberry plants that I dug up, there and there and there. And then this is Oregon grape. There are a couple of Oregon grape plants there. I had to hike up on the mountain to get those, and right at the back of the property line we found a few Oregon grapes that I could gather. Here are cherries, cherry trees. So there's a cherry tree in the yard that we have bent way over. We planted it about 10 years ago. That makes some nice cherries. And then I also took cuttings off of another cherry tree that we planted 3 years ago, and it is already producing cherries, amazingly enough. Over here we've got a couple more plum starts, and then, what do we have? These are service berry, I believe, 1, 2, 3, and then there are more cherries here. And then we've got, these are all cuttings from a pear tree. So this is spring pear rising, and then her sister, her friend, whatever, and we planted them up on the hillside. Oh, it's been a while, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and they've been struggling. We thought that because there was a spring up on the hill and the ground's really wet, that we would be able to have successful pears, but they just don't get enough sun back there. And coming off of spring, where the branch ends, these cuttings came from. And the reason being is there was a piece of chicken fencing that at some point had fallen down over top of her and had bent her to the ground. And the branch, there were a couple of branches that were actually snapped, although somehow they still had these leaves on them. And so I what do they call it? When you take your knife and you rub it up against the bark, and then you create a little bit of an abrasion so that the tree will stimulate to grow roots. Well, that's what I did with those cuttings, so I could save every part of her. And so, very excited to be bringing these pear trees to the new homestead. And I believe that is about it. Y'all have a blessed day.